sad times around here. This field is seeming like it's probably going to end up as my worst canola crop to date. And we still have another 450 acres of the same thing to go. So, I don't know. Dad's over there. Doug's over there. This is a field of DeKalb 83 SC. And it got whacked with Sclerotinia. I'm not faulting DeKalb. I'm saying, yeah, this is one of the fields. So I got a field here. Whoa. So I got this field, which is 360-ish acres. I've got 120 over by my uncle's house. And then I got another 270-ish about 2 miles that way. And yeah, I really wish I would have had a chance to spray. That definitely would have helped. She got whacked with Sclerotinia. Now she's worse than I expected. Right now it's running, I'm going to say approximately 25 bushels an acre. And I'm sure there's guys out there that are saying, oh, crybaby, oh, only getting 25 bushel an acre. Yeah, come out here and try getting 8. Yeah, I feel for you. We had rain though. And we had a lot of good conditions. And the crop that Dad has up north was going in the 40s. So yeah, we got whacked by disease. It just turned way too fast. So how did things happen? Well, we were down here spraying. I have 400 acres of durum. And then we have about 1,200 acres of canola. I have about 800 down here. Dad has about 400. And we took a look. It's just starting to flower. We should have 2-3 days before we need to get back here to spray. So we were spraying the durum for fusarium. And then the risk was getting pretty high. It was very wet. Normally we don't spray for Sclerotinia. And I'm like, yeah, I probably won't. And then you started hearing about guys seeing the little mushrooms. Okay, I better. Got some chemical coming. It was going to show up Monday. We're like, perfect. It'll be Monday, Tuesday, maybe even Wednesday. We should be ready to start spraying the canola. And some of the early stuff up north, it got sprayed a little bit. But then over that weekend, it went from barely ready to over 50% blossom. And at that point, it's just too late. My one neighbor over a couple miles away from here, he says, at that point, it's like putting a condom on to go to Lamaze class. It's just too late. I'm not going to help you. So, sent the chemical back, and it happened. We got Sclerotinia. It looked pretty rough, but then all of a sudden it kind of perked back up, and you're like, oh, okay, because initially I'm like, oh yeah, it's probably 50% gone. And a week later, you look at it, maybe it's only 30. A week later, God, there's something. It's pushing through. Like maybe it's only 10 or 15%. And then we had that windstorm come through where there was a tornado about 8 miles that way, and it wasn't on the ground here, but it flattened everything. And yeah, we're in the 20s for canola yield, which is just no fun at all. Wishing I would have sprayed. It's easy to self-critique or doubt yourself and make the right decision when you have all the answers. But between the Sclerotinia, the extreme heat, like July was wicked hot, and then late rain, and that wind, it's just not my year for canola. Having said that, I still have 450 acres, about 8 miles out, closer to 10 miles that way, that it's in vigor. It doesn't look like it got dinged up as bad. It did not get sprayed. And then I also have one field of DeKalb that did get sprayed, and I threw some micronutrients on just for fun. So we'll see how that pans out. But what's really going to be interesting is, well, that way. That'd be a mile and a bit. It's my uncle's yard. Now, I have DeKalb SC83 and 4 other varieties in a trial. Like the field is DeKalb SC83, and then I have some 400, 401, 800, and 801. So maybe it's just 4 varieties. And on the other side, Dad has some Invigor 340. Now I got knocked down, but it didn't look like it took on a lot of Sclerotinia. So that's going to be interesting to see how that stacks up side by side, because they were planted within 2 days of each other and treated exactly the same fertility, same seed rate, same sprays, same everything. So I'm not sitting here bashing DeKalb by any stretch of the imagination. I'm saying I wish I would have sprayed to see how good this DeKalb could have been. But what's going to be really interesting is to see a side-by-side with the DeKalb and the Invigor. And that's not saying Invigor's that much better. Invigor's really good stuff. And it could very well be the pinnacle, but it's harder to thrash, it's got bigger stalks, and maybe the bigger stalk is what made it tolerate the Sclerotinia better, versus I kind of thought it'd be the other way around. There's a lot less stalk on the DeKalb and less branches for the flowers to fall and catch on. So I don't know. It's going to be an expensive mistake. Those are the life lessons that really soak in. You know, it sucks. It really does. But we're going to power through. We're just going to have to find a different way to make a little bit of money. Hopefully YouTube. I don't think I'll ever be YouTube rich. Yeah, I'm definitely not a happy camper this morning. Regretting a lot of decisions that I've made in the last while. It's, I recorded some last night, but it was very colorful. And I was a bit heated. And really it comes down to a lot of decisions I made. Whether to spray, whether to not, what to spray, what to grow. And we're gonna pivot here a bit. So we came out and we did, I don't know, 160, 180 acres here. The last 50, and it's not doing well at all. It's like 25 bushel an acre, which is pretty pathetic in my books. Yeah, it definitely seemed like between the Sclerotinia and the heat stress that we had in July, it just did not perform well. The stuff we had up north seemed to do just fine. Different breed, different variety, obviously. But just a lot of things are going wrong right now. So about 2 weeks ago, I sprayed this field. The very west side had a lot of big weeds come in, and we're not really sure why. It had good cover at the time, had good spray early on, and then everything got flattened by that tornado, or funnel cloud probably is what it was when it came through here. And so I looked at it, Dad looked at it, we thought the exact same thing. That is not going to be any fun to combine. So there's probably 80 to 100 acres on the west side where it looked really bad. So I mixed up one tank and I played around in the corner and the west side, and I sprayed all that. It's just like, yeah, I'm still seeing some more. It's like Cleavers and pigweed were the big ones that I was seeing. Cleavers are just no fun to put through the machine. They sound like a couple of camels humping in the back. And so I did that. And then I said, well, maybe I'll just do a lap of the field and get an idea of what needs sprayed. So you look out and see, it doesn't look really a whole lot different than normal canola stubble as far as the color. But when you get into it, and the other thing is with that tornado thing was a lot of rain. And we've never really had this happen before. In particular, that it was laid so flat and then got rain. And we're thinking that because it was laid over, it kind of allowed the sun to get down. And so you can see there's some buckwheat there. There's, some fresh growth canola. So some pods got shattered out a little bit. And keep in mind, we had Sclerotinia as well. There's some cleavers, little wild oats, more cleavers, more buckwheat. And it's starting to show up in the sample. A lot of it is just threshed out chunks of weed that are getting in the sample. There's some green buckwheat seeds. And then there's a little bit of cleaver seeds, not a lot. But you can see clear as day the line where I sprayed, which is right around here. Guess we got a combine parked in the way. So we're walking, we're green, and right here, we're white. So really, I should have sprayed the whole field. Again, it's really easy when you have all the information. And it's making a mess of the sample. And we're at the bottom. I've got, with that truckload, it'll be like 4,500 bushel in the bin. And I don't like putting green stuff in the bin. So what we're gonna do, or what I'm gonna do, is my initial plan here. My plan has changed about 15 times in the last 15 minutes. So my plan at the moment is I'm gonna take that semi and the other 3,400 bushel-ish that's in the bin and put it in a 5,000 bushel bin that has air. And we're gonna pump some air at it for some time. And then not only are we going to cool it, it's not hot, and the grain itself is dry. But it's the other stuff. There's some late pods that are kind of half thrashed. There's some, like I said, there's some green cleavers, but there's just little chunks of stalk. And maybe we are over threshing a bit. Maybe we're not giving it quite enough air. But like, it was doing a good job here. Where it got sprayed, we got over in there, it wasn't doing a good job. We're gonna try over there. Once this stuff is, and I might have to come out and spray this. The downfall of that is we just just changed the sprayer tires to the fatties, to the 710s. Now, having said that, for what's out here, there's probably only 80 acres of 25 bushel an acre canola out here. So I'm not losing a lot, even if I do go out with the big tires. So we looked at the other fields. They don't seem as bad. As far as weeds, I don't expect much more yield out of them. I don't know. But my hopes are a few days sitting on air will dry out a lot of the green stuff. Part of me wants to add some supplemental heat just to speed up the process. We do have, what the hell is it called? A frost fighter that we can add into the equation. Pump some heat, pump some air, get the moisture out, and then maybe even run it through the grain vac. The grain vac will take a lot of that stuff out. We'll try it. I don't know. I don't own a grain cleaner. I would love to have one. This might be a good enough reason to have one. I don't know. You can look at it. Not a whole, like the actual seeds, there's some smalls from the Sclerotinia, some green wild oat seeds, some green buckwheat in there, and chunks of stem and unthrashed pods. So it'd be different if it was going on at the end of the bin, because the top of the bin will come off first. But to have to pull 25,000 bushel out to get to a warm spot, I don't know. I'm just a lot more comfortable moving it out, and then at least it's separated for now. We'll be able to see what's going on over on the other field, make an educated guess on what to do. Kind of just buys us some time. I really don't like the amount of dockage that's in here, and in particular that the dockage is green. And the next little bit that we got going on this field is worse. Now, it was getting worse at dark, being that it's flat. I think it just pulled a lot of moisture out from the ground in the last 20 minutes. Even the front compartment, that was about an hour earlier. It's not nearly as bad as this back one, but if we're gonna put a little in a bin, we may as well put, 2/3 in a bin, or fill it and deal with it that way. So that's my tentative plan right now. I do have to run it past the Fuhrer, old Hefe here, Dad, because it's his bins that I'm gonna use. They're open, and if we absolutely had to, he could use some of my 30,000. I don't care. But we also have, so this is all DeKalb down here. Dad's got 400 acres of Invigor. We've still got a 6,000 bushel bin open here. I still have 300 acres of Invigor out to the east. It looks a lot better. And it's been desiccated, so you shouldn't see any of this in here. Yeah, and we've still got open bins, and if we needed to, we could actually bag for a bit too. So we still have 2.5 bags that we could use. 2.25. Of course, we got to go to the furthest bin too. I don't know why the motor's coughing. We will, this guy opened up there. Turn on you. Right there. So I was really concerned, but I got talked into it with going with the 24-inch pad. I was trying to multitask here. I was really concerned that 24 inches wouldn't be enough. And I know a few guys that they like to do theirs on 30-inch pads. My salesman from Walgrain, Heath, he said, dude, I'd love to upsell you. It's not worth it. You know, maybe for some guys it is, but you'll have lots of room to get a hopper under it. You don't want too much. Otherwise, you need something to get the grain going down, because if it's windy, it makes a mess. I said, all right, 24 it is. And I'm very happy that he talked me into that and not spending an extra. Wouldn't have been a whole lot on concrete and everything, but it was enough.